As the days draw closer for the new king to be installed, who is dead against corruption and who is already eyeing Mahathir for all the things he did, and yang berkuasa will be the new Agong, our current PMX, who happens to be the finance minister, who has full access to all the financial documents, even 50 years or 60 years back, because all that is archived. So with all that access, it is a matter of days that MACC is going to nail Mahathir, his cronies, his friends, and his family. So therefore, desperate, this on tour is desperate, and he will be rambling non-stop and saying all kinds of things to make it appear that he is a victim, because that's all he can do. Kalau you tak bersalah, apa you takut? You can go to court, whatever you want to argue. So instead dia keluarkan cerita Zahid, 47 charges dropped. Firstly, drop macam mana? Under what circumstance? DNAA. DNAA mean discharge not amounting to acquittal. Bukan maksud dia Zahid tak bersalah. So, Zahid punya case is still hidup. Tapi notice tak, when it comes to Mahathir, ataupun the opposition, the DNAA case tu, 47 charges tu, rakyat Malaysia mostly tak understand. DNAA means kejar tak habis. What prosecution did is that prosecution go to the court and say, look, there is kecacatan in the investigation, ada tak cukup, certain shortfalls here and there, some jobs not done, certain investigation not finished, further inquiry is required, further investigation is required, further interviews are required, further checking and review of the strategy and everything is required, and because the kitchen tak siap lagi to keluar makanan, can you please tell the guest to leave please, and we will dah siap, dah prepare, we'll call the guest balik in to serve, ataupun kalau tak boleh prepare, we tell the guest tak boleh datang. It's like a restaurant, faham tak? So therefore MACC nak kena masak lagi, nak kena buat apa nak kena buat. Tapi the narrative of course can be not flattering lah for the government kan, because at the end of the day, kalau nak sweep the case under the carpet because Zahid is an ally, that is also cara dia to do a DNAA. Jadi sekarang ni, kalaulah Mahathir dan opposition is really about upholding justice, if they are so concerned about case Zahid, you tak boleh kata dia drop. It's not the issue of drop. You tanya dalam parlimen, get the opposition yang support Mahathir ni, tanya dalam parlimen, what is happening to Zahid's DNAA case? Tanya, follow up, ask when is the investigation supposed to be, when is the RCI Tommy Thomas supposed to happen, what is the term of reference, who will be appointed. Polis dah buka ke kertas siasatan, MACC dah interview ke 15 witness yang tak habis interview tu. So whatever that AG, yang the past AG, even kalau dia kencing lah kat court pun, all this is recorded in court. Bite on that 11 cogent reasons, so-called cogent reasons. Tanya, demand answers. Law Minister kena bagi answer pasal RCI. MACC kena buat statement sama ada dia dah investigate ke tak. Yang lagi 15 witness tu. Polis, IGP kena buka, kena report dia dah buka siasatan atau belum. So many things. AG kena buat statement, you nak review the case ke apa. What is happening to that? Zahid punya case tak settle lagi, faham tak? Dia temporarily discharge, pending outcome of further investigations. Get that clear. Jadi kalau people like Mahathir, Daim, Bini Daim, opposition, kalau they are really concerned about the case, they would follow up on the case. Tapi they don't want. They want it to stay that way. They want it to remain there supaya dia boleh guna tu sebagai peluru untuk hentam this government, that this government is subverting justice and protecting kleptocrats from their own fault. Supaya dia nak buat tu, supaya dia jadi, they can play the victim and they want to try to lepas. So this is about case Zahid. Case Zahid is a pathetic punya case where because to me, I am irritated that the opposition is not even asking the government what's happening to case Zahid. Nobody is asking. I'm the only one making noise, tanya, what is happening to case Zahid? Kena ada answer. So sekarang ni okey lah, baru berapa bulan saja. Tapi still, dah lebih kalau 6 bulan, every 6 bulan bagilah update what's happening to the case Zahid, what's happening to that. Not only Zahid punya DNA case, lain-lain semua, Reza Aziz, anak Rosmah, Musa Aman, all those DNA case kena ada kesudahan. Kesudahan dia either acquittal ataupun charge balik, and it goes to court. It cannot stay in a limbo and tak boleh solve. Kalau lama sangat, it should be acquitted. Kan? So, kenapa tak pursue tu? Kenapa instead you want to use that as a modal to say, to hentam government, to tunjuk yang you ni unfairly prosecuted. Government pilih you saja. Now, first things first, I want to lay the perspective in place. Whether, kalau ada 10 pencuri, semua pencuri, nak prosecute atau nak go after, police got to go after one by one. They choose whichever they want to choose. Yang mana yang senang, mana yang curi paling banyak, whatever they try. They choose who. Now, the other thieves doesn't mean dia selamat. And the thief yang kena investigate, bolehkah dia go to court kata, tak fair dia prosecute. There are so many other thieves in the world. They are free, they are not even investigated. Police know, but police don't charge them. Police charge only me. So because of that, it is revenge, it is selective prosecution. Let me go please. I should not be subject to the law. Pasal orang lain pun curi. Boleh kan macam tu? It doesn't work that way. Jadi kita sebagai rakyat jangan jadi bodoh. Kalau ada 10 pencuri, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they go after pencuri 1, 3 dan 5, we should be happy lah. That's 3 less. 7 more to go. What do we care whether they go first one ke, the second one first ke, the third one ke, the 8th one ke? So what? Every thief that's brought to book out of the 10 is one less thief. So therefore, we should, lepas 3 jalan, kita minta lagi, tanya lagi, apa lagi. Nah, tapi kalau orang yang kena tuduh, innocent, macam Tun Mahathir ni, innocent, then the investigation will yield a not. Kalau dia prosecute pun, court akan tendang and there will not even be a prima facie case. So, apa yang Mahathir takut untuk dia dengan anak dia? What is the concern? So, why you takut kena investigated? Lepas tu dia nak take swipe, reduce corruption, dah kata Zaid yang 47 kes, 47 tu ada lagi. Okay? You should pursue and follow up on what's happening to that. Okay? Rakyat pun nak tahu apa outcome dah cerita. Now, lepas tu dia kata, kita 42 tahun dulu punya pun kena simpan receipt. Kita makan nasi lemak apa, kita makan roti canai pun kena simpan receipt. Hello? You duit berbilion-bilion, beli roti canai dengan nasi lemak ke? You makan nasi lemak, 1000 paket setiap pagi pun tak sampai 1 million lah, faham tak? So therefore, tak payahlah nak go on the rhetorics receipt semua. No such things. What they are asking for, what MACC will ask for, is that yang mana bilion-bilion ni mana datang. Bukan apa you belanja kecil-kecil semua. That is not lah. Whatever you buy, you beli hotel, you beli kapal terbang, those you better have receipts. Whether it's 30 years ago, or 50 years ago, or 100 years ago, you better have receipts, you better have records of that. MACC is not going to be looking at benda-benda kecil-kecil you beli. So, nice trying to deceive the public about simpan receipt. Kalau kita simpan receipt, kita masuk jail. Hello, first things first lah. Bila suruh you declare, that's under the law, you are supposed to declare your income. So, jadi kalau you punya income, you dapat banyak mana semua, you should say the kind of things you do. You don't have to remember the exact date. You don't have to remember the exact quantum. Tapi kalau katakanlah you menang loteri, bagi tahu lah you menang loteri tahun berapa ke apa, boleh check kan? Kalau ada donation manakah, there should be transactions kan? Kalau you jual property somewhere in tahun berapa, puluhan berapa, you boleh bagi tahu kan? If you buy cheap and then you sell high, you boleh cerita kan? Kalau you take over company, share, semua you boleh cerita. You boleh cerita lebih kurang. Whatever cerita, MACC will take, MACC will investigate. Anything untoward, then you kena answer balik. So, you tak mau cooperate. Jadi, instead of you giving whatever information you have, takkan you tak tahu apa harta you dah sekarang. You are supposed to declare assets, wealth you. You don't have to declare your nasi lemak punya consumption and your roti canai consumption. So Mahathir try lah nak pusing, nak kencing kat kita semua konon. But we're not idiots. Jadi, dia boleh buat lah, dia akan continue cerita macam ni. Tapi, point is, MACC will just demand, give you 30 days, declare your assets. That's a long time. You boleh declare apa pun. Kalau you dah tak habis declare banyak sangat, declare what you can first. Kata kat MACC, this is not done. I need some more time. Give me 1 more month. Give me 2 more months. Give me 6 more months. I will declare some more. And every day ada benda bagi. So you bagilah. Kalau you are in the mode of cooperating, MACC is not going to be sticky and say, no, you must complete by 30 days or else I charge you. No. Ini 30 days pun kalau habis pun you tak bagi because you don't want to allow them to check. You don't want to declare your assets. You're telling me you don't know. You kan tak tahu, you can just tell what you know. That first. But you don't want to share. Why? Because kalau you share, then you're going to have to answer mana datang duit tu. Sekarang ni, whatever MACC has, is just based on Pandora Papers dengan Panama Papers. Itu publication by a third party about your supposed assets and wealth. Now, this becomes a reason enough to, under the law, to ask you to minta declaration. They cannot use the publication of Pandora Papers dengan Panama Papers to prosecute you and incriminate you. That will not sail in court. Tapi that is the lead to actually cause them to ask you to declare your assets. You tak payah declare nasi lemak dengan roti canai. Cock and bull. Tak payah. You just need to declare what you have. What businesses you have, what assets you have, what liabilities you have. You can cerita semua tu. And cerita where it comes from, that's next. That's not even now. They're not asking you now where your money come from. Belum lagi. Tapi you tengok bila Mahathir cerita, oh lepas ni kita kena simpan receipt lah, apa kita belanja, apa semua, nasi lemak apa. Maknanya now, what they're doing now, they're preparing fictitious punya receipts, fictitious punya documents to show money outflow. To show benda tu keluar, diguna untuk apa. They got to come up with that. Pasal itulah Anwar kata susah nak investigate Tun-Tun. All the Tun-Tun semua. They can do all these things. So therefore, when he says that, receipt nak kena simpan semua, it simply means now they are gathering receipts and they are making receipts. They are doing that now to mitigate the quantum. Tapi masalah dia are filthy rich. The amount is so big. They cannot possibly do it in 30 days. Tapi in 30 days, MACC expect them to declare something. Tak boleh tak declare langsung. So once you declare something, you can't undeclare that, can you? So therefore, they are caught. They are caught with their balls stuck between two poles. Faham tak? So because of that, dia menggelabah lah. Dan dia cerita semua. Dia punya narrative is, inilah menghapuskan rasuah. Get all the Tun-Tun semua masuk. Well, the Tun-Tun are among those yang foremost rasuah lah. Yang the rest yang kata tak investigate apa semua tu, kalau you are interested about law, about upholding the law, you dah kena ataupun you tengah kena during your trial pun, you can ask, what about the Tengku Zafrul? What about semua yang lain-lain? Tanyalah, dah investigate belum? Tanya MACC, tapi MACC kata semua dia investigate. So kalau mereka tak kena, there's no reason for you to kena just because dia tak kena tau. Kalau you salah, you kena lah. Kalau you tak salah, you tak kena. Simple as that. So, nice try lah come up with every narrative. Every single narrative I can patahkan. Because you are talking crap. You are desperate. Less than a week before the new Agong comes. After that, all the Tun-Tun will be shitting bricks. Armageddon will be for them. And sekok-sekok akan masuk hospital. Tak percaya tengoklah. As far as MACC and Anwar Ibrahim is concerned, they are going 5th gear. And this is the time, this is hunting season. Because the royals are fully backing up the government fully backing up MACC, and therefore Azam Baki is dancing all the way. As far as Azam Baki punya case, kenapa nak kena go after Azam Baki, kenapa tak go after, pasal ada kesalahan ke apa ke? Well, Azam Baki kata itu dia punya brother pakai dia punya account. Well, benda tu bukan satu kesalahan. So kalau dia kata brother dia pakai, can check betul tak betul brother dia pakai. Kalau brother pakai, dia dah langgar satu kesalahan. Now you proceed, and tell government kenapa tak ambil tindakan pada Zahid. Kenapa tak charge Zahid for benda, Zahid pula, Azam Baki for that. Go after that lah, faham tak? Kalau you are interested about justice on Azam Baki, you go and tanya, why benda tu tak investigate Azam Baki punya benda tu? Kenapa? Kalau betul brother dia pakai itu salah, kenapa tak charge Azam Baki ataupun denda dia, kenapa tak? Tanya that. Pursue that. Tapi dia tak mau. Pasal kalau ada pun, it's just a scratch on Azam Baki. Nothing much on him. But rather, better use Azam Baki punya case to show that, government protect Azam Baki. And because of that, Azam Baki is going after the nemesis of the government. Enough lah. That narrative is sick. It's just pathetic to the core. And my job is every time I hear your rubbish, I will connect the dots for people to understand. Connecting the dots is not difficult. If people understand what kind of a lying fox you are. With all due respect to Rafidah Aziz, focus got to be based on what moves the needle most lah. Okay? So kalau dia focus to bring foreign investment masuk to the country 300 juta, and that same effort can be used to go after a particular tone, yang where you nail him and you bring back money 1 billion, mana besar lagi 1 billion ke 300 juta? So whether it's foreign direct investment ke ataupun repatriation of stolen money masuk balik dalam government coffers, it's still money. The more that comes in, the lesser kita punya hutang, lagi cepat kita punya ekonomi heal, and lagi sejahtera rakyat. So therefore, I leave it to the government to do what they need to do. Kalau going after all the kleptocrats will bring money, much more than trying to fix the economy and they are walking free, I prefer what government is doing now lah. Okay? Foreign direct investment is likely to come in because investor confidence will return kalau all those deemed invincible for the sins they've committed in the past are all brought to book today. The perception of kita punya governance will greatly enhance. But as Dennis Ignatius says, kena all lah, tak boleh lah you hanya belah sana saja. Jadi tak tahulah, I don't know when is the next investigation that is going to involve people from belah government side yang in the Pandora Papers. There must be a comment, and it must at least be perceived that it is impartial. Kalau you kata you impartial tapi semua belah sana saja kena, belah sini tak kena, then what it means is that the perception by the external investors is still sama lah macam apa rakyat Malaysia fikir, faham tak? Jadi take note lah also of what Dennis Ignatius kata. Dia bagi open letter kat PM. I hope PM baca that with an open heart and take heed. Jangan nampak selektif. Even though if it's not selective, jangan nampak macam selektif. Kalau nampak macam selektif, it's going to be bad for kita punya reputation to the investors. FDI lembab masuk and dia akan masuk kat negara-negara lain. Bila kita punya ekonomi nak revive? Okay? Kita boleh survive jika by just going after kleptocrats. Itu kau dapat. Sekarang ni, they don't even want to declare and reveal their assets. And you can only nail them 5 years plus 100,000 kalau tak silap kan? That's it. You can do that only. But then you nak kena correct, nak kena enforce specific enforcement to go after their documents and get more things. Since they don't want to declare, prosecution becomes a bit more difficult. Tapi these kleptocrats, they prefer to do the 5-year jail term first, try to fight that, daripada kalau dia declare semua, dia tak boleh jawab. Semua akan kena. Boleh kena CBT, boleh kena misappropriation of funds, boleh kena tax evasion. AMLA memang confirm dah kena. So AMLA kalau dia punya banyak duit masuk, tak boleh jawab, is deemed duit haram. So even though dia dah curi sebelum in 19 80 ke, 1970 ke, 1990 ke. AMLA punya law came in 2001. Tapi after 2001, duit-duit yang curi itu ubah tak ubah? Ubah kan? Ada transfer, ada withdraw, ada bayar, ada investment. Jadi you gerak-gerakkan that duit, pengubahan tu yang salah. So AMLA whack you for mengubah that duit haram, bukan for earning that duit haram. So because of AMLA lah, that is the game changer. Because of that lah Daim sampai masuk hospital sakit, tak boleh explain macam mana dia sakit pun. Demam lah. Because when they did whatever they did not imagine that in the future, nobody had a crystal ball to see in the future that AMLA will come into play. AMLA is a game changer. AMLA is when you cannot explain your wealth, you cannot explain where you got it from, and it doesn't commensurate with whatever your earnings. That is deemed as duit haram. So therefore, the minute whatever you have is deemed as duit haram, that alone doesn't make you go to jail tau. Tapi the minute you move it, you move the duit here and there, this account, that account, mengubah saja, bang, AMLA is triggered. AMLA triggered, you boleh kena 5 kali ganda of the amount that is deemed haram yang you gerakkan, and ada jail term. So this is why it's like Armageddon for the Tones, and they are super desperate. In coming days and in coming hours, buy popcorn and just enjoy lah, tengok the things that Mahathir will do. Sampai ke hujung, Mahathir will just be coming up with that narrative, because kalau boleh dia nak a revolt, a rebellion dalam rakyat, anything lah, perang ke, perang saudara ke, kaum gaduh with each other ke, orang rise up against the Agong ke, or this government ke, whatever he can do to rile up sentiments, to create any kind of calamity, ada penyakit ke, COVID ke, whatever lah, anything to distract this issue, to delay what is imminently to happen to him and his family and his crony. This man is on a mission that even if he has to destroy Malaysia, he will destroy Malaysia so long as he save his own ass and his anak-anak. That is all, and fortunate enough, the royals, the government, and most of the rakyat can see right through him. This person nak lie pun ada hayat dia lah. And he's at the end of the road. Do bad lah, kesian Mahathir.
If you have any interesting ideas that can help build a better Malaysia, please put them in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. The subscription is free. You don't have to pay money. And we don't, YouTube doesn't give us your information. So there's no list of subscribers. I just know the number of subscribers, but no information about who the subscribers are. And we are not monetized, so there's no advertisements. When you click on our videos, you straight away watch our videos. You don't have to see annoying ads. Anyway, now please subscribe if you haven't done so, and please share our videos far and wide. Terima kasih. Wassalam.
If you want to see more content like this, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any new videos.